Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you? I am so happy to be here with you. You don't even know. It's Fun Fold Friday and I love doing fun folds. Those and 3Ds are probably my favorite projects to work on. I just think it's so interesting to have cards that open just not your traditional way, and so I definitely enjoy working on them. So today we're going to do a fun fold, and this is it. It's a top fold Z-fold card. So you know how Z-fold cards work. They go from the side, and this one's a double Z-fold, but it opens from the top, so you pull to the top, and there is your double Z-fold, and it goes right down the center. Isn't that so cool? I love this card. I'm using the Flowering Rainboots bundle and Home and Garden. And these are the two bundles I have been using all week on my projects, so definitely check out my playlist. You're going to get to see a variety of projects with both bundles. And let's go ahead and get started. I can't wait to get started with you and show you everything that we are going to do with this amazing card. So as you can see here, we've set quite a little scene down this middle center panel, but our base of our card is crumb cake, and I cut it at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and we're gonna score it. So I'm gonna grab my Simply scoreboard. You guys know how much I love this little board. Oops. All right, so we're gonna put it in the long side, and we're gonna score it at 5 1/2 and 8 1/4. Okay, so those are the two score marks, 5 1/2 and 8 1/4, and this whole piece is 4 1/4 by 11. Then we're having a piece of Parakeet Party, and this is the center piece that goes down this long piece right here in the middle, and it's 3 1/4 by 10 inches. We're also going to score down the long side. We're going to score at 2 3/4 of an inch and at 5 1/2. And that's all the scoring that you're gonna need for your middle centerpiece. So that's it for scoring. But we have lots of layers and lots of pieces with lots of measurements. So get out your scrap paper, and I will take you along with me. So the main core of the card, which is our crumb cake, see, here's the back, is our 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2 and 8 1/4. So those are my two score marks. As you can see, they fall like this. Okay, so that's that piece. Now we're gonna put something on this top flap. It is this little section. I wanted a pop of bright color, so I decided to go with our new in color Parakeet Party. And so I have two layers here. One of them has some brick, and that has been achieved with our brick and mortar embossing folder. It's an amazing embossing folder, and I basically just ran it through the center. I'll show it to you. On a piece of basic white cardstock. Ran it through my die cut machine, and when it comes out, it has this really cool brick pattern. Okay, so these two pieces are going to go up here. I'm going to give you the measurements of those, but before I glue them down, I have to do some blending of ink. But that top section there is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8 for the Parakeet Party, and 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches for the basic white that I used the brick on. Okay, so that's for that piece here. Okay, now this bottom section, this middle section gets no cardstock on it, but this bottom section here also gets two layers. It gets a Parakeet Party layer, and then it also gets a brick and mortar embossed piece of brick, just like you can see here on this bottom section. And for that piece, these are the dimensions. The Parakeet Party is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And the basic white, which is the bricked piece, is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So those are the sizes of that. Now I told you that we had a piece here of Parakeet Party that is going to be this middle section that goes down like this. This piece is 3 1/4 by 10 inches, and we scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, And so these pieces, we're going to go ahead and burnish those score marks. The folded pieces, instead of being on the top like this one, they go to the bottom like this. Okay, so that's this piece. And these two, as you can see, have pieces of white cardstock. So these two small pieces of white are 3 by 2.5 inches. Okay, those go on those two spots right there. But this top section, as you can see, is the front of our card, and it has that same brick. I didn't have to cut a piece of Parakeet Party because I already have that long piece, but this bricked piece is 3 inches by 4.25 inches. And that is for that piece. So now you have all the dimensions. Now all of the elements that I put on here, the hooks and this piece of wood in the background and my rake, my shovel, all of those were done with scrap cardstock. Whatever I had left over, I had sitting on the side, I just grabbed it, stamped it, and die cut those pieces out. So I don't have any dimensions for those, but the main components of your card, you should now have all your dimensions. So I'm gonna move these guys over to the side, one to one side, one to the other, and I'm gonna bring in some scrap paper. And we are going to grab our blending brush. We're gonna grab a little bit of gray granite, because it's a little bit of gray and a little bit of brown. I love this color. And I am gonna sponge it. I'm gonna mark off a little bit. I'm gonna sponge it over the top of my brick. And as you can see, it pops up those pieces of brick. I'm gonna come back in here and I'm gonna make sure I really get along my edges. Just like that. Okay, so there's my big piece that's gonna go down here. I know you guys can't see that. I'm gonna bring my next piece over. I have 3 pieces of the brick that I have to, I'm gonna first run it all over the front, and then I'm gonna work on my edges. That was a little too harsh there. Let's see if I can erase a little. Sometimes you can get lucky if you get it quick. Not quite enough, but it's okay. That piece of the wall is dirty. Got a little dirt on it. All right, and here is our next piece. Again, we're gonna grab our blending brush, and then I'm gonna lightly go over my brick area just to help that those brick pieces get defined. And then I'm gonna go around my edges, and here's the last edge. All right, so I am happy with our brick. So that is that. Now these 2 small pieces over here, this one is going to get our Life in Full Bloom and our tulips. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab our 2 ink pads. We're going to use Parakeet Party for the greenery and Fresh Freesia for the tulips. So let's go ahead and grab those and ink those up. And I'm going to do those to the right hand side here, like so, and about right there in that corner. And then I'm going to grab my tulips, and I'm going to try and line those up so that they're all on a stem like that, just like that. And I will clean all these stamps at the same time. So I will close those. I actually need to do birthday wishes in Fresh Freesia, so while I have it open, I will go ahead and ink that piece up. And this is just a scrap piece of Fresh Freesia that I'm using for the words. Woo, I did that too high. Of course I can't see, so I better start looking. Much better the second time. So I'll clean that, and then I'm going to do my Live Life in Full Bloom, and that's in soft suede. I'm gonna grab that, and we'll stamp that in this top hand corner here. Live Life in Full Bloom. All right, so there is that stamping. So let's go ahead and get my stamp cleaner out. We'll clean all of these at the same time. Make life easier for ourselves, right? Get everything nice. Now, the tools were stamped except for the ladder. That was stamped in soft suede on a piece of crumb cake cardstock. But here is our ladder. The rain boots were fresh freesia on fresh freesia. The piece of this bar is just cut out of a piece of soft suede. My pot was cut and was stamped out of Cajun Craze on basic white cardstock. My tools were done in Memento. We're gonna color those in a second. I have my hooks. Look at all these little parchment pieces. Those were out of basic black. I have my seed packet, that's Parakeet Party. And then I have these pieces of Granny Apple Green, and they are the grass, one of the dies from the Home and Garden set. So I'm gonna pull those pieces out. All right, so let's get started on the assembly part, right? So let's get our birthday wishes ready. We're gonna trim this down a little lower. I'm gonna do my banner ends by going down the center and then meeting that with my corners. Same thing over here. I'm gonna come down a smidge, it's too far over, and we're gonna do the same thing. And I think I'm gonna cut this one a little farther over. I don't like it quite that pointy, so there we go. All right, so there's our birthday wishes. Get that out of the way. Let's color our tools. So we're gonna use some Stampin' Blends. We're gonna color that shovel and the rake. I'm gonna grab a scrap paper. We're gonna start with our light smoky slate. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my shovel. I'm gonna use the bullet end for the smaller section up here. Make sure. All right, and then for my rake, we're gonna do the tines. It's a metal rake, and we're gonna do these tines here. Okay. And then we're gonna use the dark soft suede, and I'm going to go over all of these lines that the artist gave me. I'm going to add a couple there, and I'm going to add a little bit of darkness there. Then we're going to move on to our light soft suede, and we're going to color the handle here of our shovel and the stake, and we're going to do our rake, and this little binding piece is also going to be that color. And then with the dark soft suede, we're going to highlight all these markings that the artist gave us. All right, so those are ready to go. So now all of our pieces are basically ready to assemble our card. So let's start gluing. So I'm gonna leave these little pieces up here. I'm just gonna move them up a little. We're gonna start with this piece, and I'm gonna grab my silicone mat again. When I use wet glue, I do like to use my silicone mat because I tend to make a mess, but this is embossed, so I definitely want to use my wet glue because there's lots of nooks and crannies. I want them covered. So we're gonna attach our brick to our Parakeet Party. And then we're gonna use our seal adhesive on our Parakeet Party because it does not have any nooks and crannies. Excuse me. Might need to drink a little water. I've been talking a lot with my video. I am gonna attach that onto our crumb cake. So there's our bottom piece. Let's do this top section. Remember, this middle section has nothing. So again, I'm gonna use my wet glue first, and I'm gonna do all the little nooks and crannies of this brick. We will attach that onto our Parakeet Party. I know I'm a little out of camera, sorry. There we go. And then this is going to get its piece of seal adhesive. And we'll attach that near the top. We'll make sure that this point is nice and pointy. There we go. So there is our card base section is ready. Okay, let's use our bone folder and make sure that we have nice burnished score marks. Just like that. All right, next, here's our parakeet party section. Now this one is going to get our brick. And again, nooks and crannies. So we're going to use our wet glue. And this doesn't go onto a piece of parakeet party mat. It's going to go to the top section of this middle part. So we'll go ahead and attach that like that on there. Looks pretty awesome. We can attach our Live Life in Full Bloom. I'm going to use my seal adhesive. We're going to put that in the middle section right here. All right, our bottom section is this piece. I'll show you the inside of our card here again. So we're going to put our rain boots. So let's go ahead and use some wet adhesive for that. And we're going to attach these guys onto our cardstock like that. And then I'm going to use my seal adhesive to attach this onto our parakeet party right here. All right. So let's go ahead and attach this onto our card. So what we're going to do is this brick is going to form its section right here. So we're going to get our center, okay? And when I'm happy with where it is, I'm going to go ahead and open this part and let it out, okay? And I'm going to open this flap. And with a pencil, I'm going to mark right here. Okay, and everything above it is fair game for adhesive. I'm going to use wet adhesive because it does tend to bond really, really well. And since this card is going to be moving in and out and back and forth, I want to make sure that it stays pretty stable. So now that I have my part marked on there, I'm going to go ahead and close it again. That gets tucked there. We're going to find our piece again, our center point, and when we're happy with that, I'm gonna go ahead and glue that piece into place. Now we're gonna do the other side. Only just this piece is gonna get glued, and the whole thing is gonna be attached, so we don't have to mark it. And again, it needs nice strong adhesive, so I'm using the wet adhesive. And now I'm just gonna keep that closed and bring it right over the top. And I'm just gonna press down with my hand on the bottom section. We can open that and press. So that's what we have so far, okay? We have to glue our, let's make our little scene here at the top of our card. So let's go ahead and close it. We're going to glue our ladder together. So when we glued the two pieces, I stamped two of them in soft suede and I cut them out with the die, and I wanted to make it look like it was an open ladder. So I figured if I staggered them like this, it would look like an open ladder, doesn't it to you? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to put some wet adhesive at the top here and on each of these rungs on this side, because I know that this side is going to get the ladder, and then I'm not going to put down that line right there. I'm just going to attach that piece so that it looks like it's an open ladder. Just like that. Okay, so once I have it in place, I'm going to go ahead and press all of my glue pieces in, and there's our ladder. Doesn't it look like it's opened? Very cool, right? Let's set that to the side. We're gonna glue our little bar that goes across. That's gonna be the first thing that we attach. So again, we're gonna use wet adhesive because it is super strong. Plus, when this is die cut out, it does put little nooks and crannies in it, kind of like a wood grain. It's part of the die. And I definitely want it to stick really well. So I'm gonna grab that, and we're gonna bring our card back up here, and we're gonna put our bar, we'll fit maybe about right there. And we're gonna place that across our piece. All right. Looking good so far, right? Let's put our ladder in place. So I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the back of our ladder. And I have saved this piece from a piece of the mini dimensionals. There's a border all the way around. Let me show you the minis. So see this border that goes all the way around? When you're done pulling all these little minis, you have this nice wide border all the way around. And so that's what's here. And I've used the other 3 sides. I just have the one left. And so I use this when I'm doing skinny pieces. As you can see, I just kind of cut up those pieces just like that, and I pull the backs off, and then I stick those down and make sure that my whole ladder is on there. We're gonna go ahead and pull those off, and we're gonna start placing them on our ladder. All of these little feet need one. And our ladder's kind of gonna be lifted up here, so we're gonna put another one here. Let's get a few more. See how these just come in handy? I love using the ends, and I feel like I'm not wasting. So let's pull a few more of these off that I've cut. We'll start using them. Put one there, one there. Let's put one on the rung, one on this rung. Let's pull a few more off. I think I cut a couple more. There they are. Let's put one here, one on this rung. And then I'm going to use some mini dimensionals. I'm going to put at the top here. Let's put 2 right at that top section. Okay, so our ladder is ready to go on. So we're going to grab our Take Your Pick tool. We're going to pull the backs off of all of these small little pieces so we can throw them in the trash. These are harder to get off because they're so thin. That's why I like to use the point of the Take Your Pick tool. It really helps to pick them up. I'll do a few at a time and then I'll come back and do a few more. All right, they're all off now. Let's go ahead and put our ladder onto our main. Okay, so our ladder is going to live kind of in this corner here. So let's go ahead and put it in place. All right, so there's our ladder. All right, so on this side here, we have a flower pot and we have this little seed packet that's kind of tucked inside of it. So I'm just going to use 2 dimensionals. I'm going to put one for my seed packet at the top. And then I'm going to put one on the back end of this pot right here. Let's pull the backs off. Let's grab that one and this one. All right, we'll start with our flower pot. It's going to go kind of sticking off here on the corner. And then on this piece here, our flower pot, I want to put a piece of dimensional back behind that back section as well. We'll pull that piece off. I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue because this piece is tucked under in that corner. That will help adhere that flower pot to my seed packet. So we'll put that just like that. Now we need some hooks over here so that we can start hanging our tools, right? We're going to put our rake. We're going to put our shovel. So we'll put one of the little brackets by itself over in this corner. Nothing's on it. Maybe the ladder goes there, but it's down right now. So there's that one. Let's grab another one. We need one for the shovel and one for the rake. So there is one. We're going to go ahead and put this one down here because that's where the shovel is going to be. And then we need one for the rake. So let's go ahead and put some back. We're almost done, guys. We're doing good. This card has a lot of components, so we're making good time, I think. So we'll put this one here. And what we're going to have it look like is that these ends are lifted. I'm going to use my tweezer to lift those ends, okay? And I'm actually going to put a dimensional on the back of my rake. And then I'm going to use these thin pieces here, like we did on the ladder. I'm going to grab a couple of those and I'm going to put them on the handle of my rake. We'll pull the backs off. There we go. And we're going to make sure that we line up the rake so that it looks like these hooks are holding it in place. Okay, so we're going to lift those up and then just position our rake right there and then go ahead and put that part down. That looks good, right? Same thing with our shovel. So the shovel's going to get a dimensional on the bottom of the shovel. And then we're going to use these pieces that I have trimmed. Grab two of those. And I'm actually going to put one behind the handle if I have one that I've cut. Let's see, I do. I'm going to put it right here where the handle is. And let's go ahead and pull those off. One more. All right, and then we're going to take our shovel and we're going to hook it on that little hook right here. So there's a little opening on that shovel and I'm going to make sure that that hook sticks up. I'm going to try anyway. Let's use that. There we go. I'm going to put my piece of my shovel through that hook, or try to. It's giving me a hard time. There we go. Once it's on there, we can push that handle in place. And then there is our shovel. Looking good so far, right? Let's put the pot there. All right, so now comes our birthday wishes. This is also going to be attached with some glue dots. So let's just put a few of those on the back. Not glue dots. Oh my gosh, I keep saying glue dots when I mean dimensionals. I mix those two up all the time. I don't know why, but I always call glue dots dimensionals. Or dimensionals glue dots. All right, so here's our birthday wishes. We're gonna put that in this corner here. Oops, I pulled that off the center, didn't mean to. There we go. So we're gonna add that. Let's put that over the rake there. Birthday wishes. And now we just need our grass pieces. So these are just going to be glued with our wet glue. So let me grab that out. We're going to open up our card here. And we're going to add some grass pieces to the top section. And I've just put the adhesive on these bottom pieces of the grass. And there's a smaller one and a bigger one. So let's do one of each. Let's put the smaller one under the ladder. I'm gonna grab my tweezers right here in between these tines here. And we'll grab a larger one. We'll put it over here by the seed packet and kind of tuck that grass in, but where it's still sticking up. All right. So there's that one. We're gonna put some here on the tulips. Also, one of each. So let's grab those and put the adhesive on the back. And we're going to put those right around our tulips here. Looking good, right? All right, and then our last ones are going to go around our rain boots. So let's bring those up and put our adhesive on the backs. And then you have a spot there next to the rain boots to put your sentiment, whatever you want to write, to the person that's getting this fun card. They're going to love it because it's a really awesome card, don't you think? Put that there, and this one will be over here in the corner. And there is our grass. I hope you guys like this card. I had a lot of fun putting it together. It is quite a few little parts and pieces, but cards like this are made for real special occasions, right? We don't just make these cards for anybody. It's definitely for someone you know is really going to appreciate it, someone that's really going to love what we're doing for them. And those are the people that appreciate our projects and we make these kinds of cards for. All right, so this is the Home and Garden bundle. And this is the Flowering Rainboots bundle. And our cards were made with both of those. So I hope that you enjoyed watching me. I had a great time with you. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just send me a message or put a comment below. You can also email me. All my information is in the description below. Just click that see more. Definitely subscribe so that you can see more content and that you'll get notifications of when I post new videos. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. And thanks for watching. Give me some thumbs up and some comments. You can share it to Pinterest so that if you want to make this project later and you don't want to have to try and find it amongst all my videos, you can do that. So definitely hit that share button and then click Pinterest and put it on your Pinterest. Thanks again for watching, guys. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!